We're doing this stuff to Alex's Jeep, so yeah. All right, focus. Come on. Focus. Woo! Oh, there it is. What's going on? We are going to be doing some injectors, fuel injectors, and new spark plugs on Alex's Cherokee. So these are refurbished, I guess would be the word, 4-hole injectors. And the idea behind these is to make the car run a little bit smoother, because the original ones are 1-holes, so it kind of just like, these will make the fuel atomize better inside the piston, and these are new and will make good sparks.
I'm not cheap for buying refurbished ones either.
Some people use, I think, Fox body ones, I could be wrong, and some people use Dodge Neon injectors because they have the 4 holes and they plug right in. So these injectors, these refurbished ones, were $75 off eBay, and they look pretty good. I mean, what could possibly be wrong? Well, I mean, it's eBay, so anything could be wrong. Okay. We're gonna start with the plugs while we wait for everything to cool down. So yeah, let's get started. So I do know of another video where a guy puts injectors into a TJ Wrangler, and I'm assuming it's not too much different. So I'll probably link that below. This is going to be more of like a fun install video as opposed to like a tedious how-to. But we'll show you some stuff. Like basically you take everything off and then you put the new stuff in, and that's about it. And you put this stuff back together. So we were trying to disconnect the coil pack. There's a plug in the back that's just a pain to get to, but we're just gonna try and keep it connected and pull all the plugs out, just to make it a little bit easier. Yeah, they all look pretty. They're white though. I mean, I'm pretty sure that means they're fouled. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm no expert.
I think so.
So here is an old one. Let's let that focus. There's an old one. You can't kind of see it. What? You can't kind of see it. You can't really see it, but it's like really white and dusty. There we go. And here is a new shiny one. These look a little I guess the gap is the same. They just look a little different. Huh. So, definitely not gonna hurt to do. So we were able to get all the plugs out with the coil pack still plugged in. If you just, obviously you just have to unbolt them. It's 4 bolts. And while we're here, they're 13mm. And you can pull it either way enough to get to all the plugs, and it helps if there's like a clamp right here for these hoses. It helps if you pull the hoses out of them real quick, because you can move it around more. Okay, so plugs are done. Relatively simple job if you just take your time. Definitely can't hurt to do if you're gonna be in there already. So now we're gonna move on to the fuel injectors, and we're gonna start by disconnecting the battery, and then we're gonna drain the fuel that's in the line currently, and then get to taking things off and getting to the actual injectors. Okay, so we're going to purge the gas out of the line right now, and there's a little valve right here on the fuel rail. So yeah, you just unscrew it, and it's kind of just like a bicycle tube, and you shove it in there and it shoots out.
It doesn't shoot, it just kind of leaks gas. So you can see, you just do this, and it relieves pressure inside the fuel rail, so when you disconnect this thing, it doesn't just all shoot out. So just get as much out as you can.
So now we're working on getting the actual fuel line off with that fancy, whatchamacallit, thingamabobber.
Fuel line disconnect?
Fuel line disconnector thing. Plastic piece of garbage. So we got our fancy disconnect, and there we go.
Spill gas everywhere.
Yum.
Dump this out back.
So to get the fuel rail off, there's those bolts obviously that you're gonna see, and then you just have to pull it straight back, like straight out this way, and it's gonna take a good tug, and it's gonna hurt, so wear gloves or something. And just a reminder, you are dealing with gas here, and there will be gas coming out of lines and stuff, so don't do it in like a nice place, you know, or put a towel down, a rag or something, but there will be fuel spilling out and on your hands and stuff, so. Alright, so here we have the fuel rail, and these little guys in here are the actual injectors, and there are these little clips on the back of them that you have to undo. We're using a small pair of needle nose pliers. We're gonna go through all of them, and then the injectors themselves should pop right out.
All I do is adore you all of the time. I like to. I like to. I like to love you every day. I like to love you, love you. I like to love you, if I may, if I may. I like to love you, love you. I like to love you, love you. I like to love you night and day, if I may, may. I like to. I like to love you every day. I like to love you, love you. All I do is adore you all of the time. I like to. I like to. I like to love you every day. I like to love you, love you.
So here is a side-by-side comparison of the new injector and the old one. You can see this one has 4 tiny ones, and this guy has 1 big one. So this should help to atomize the fuel better and like get a finer spray, which will give a better ignition overall. So we're finding that putting the new injectors in is quite difficult, and there's really not much you can do, but you just got to be easy with it because you don't want to break anything, because that would just, then you're out of a car for however long it takes you to get a new injector, or put the old ones back in, but no one wants to do that. All the new injectors are on, finally. A lot of a pain in the ass to get in there, so now it's pretty straightforward putting them all back together. Probably going to take a good amount of force to shove them back in, like the whole fuel roll back in, and plug them back in. And it's also a super good idea to either label these plugs or write on them something, just so you know which one goes to what injector. Another thing we found doing this install is that sometimes the O-rings fall off of the injector or whatever, and they get stuck inside like the engine hole or whatever. So it's a good idea to always inspect everything once you take it apart and make sure you're not leaving anything behind. So everything is buttoned back up, and it helps if you tap the fuel rail very lightly with a little hammer to get everything back in. Plug all the plugs back in, connect the fuel line again, and then what we did was connected the battery, and we're just gonna cycle the ignition just so the fuel pump turns on, just to get fuel pressure back into the line. Because right now there's nothing in there. Well, you heard it.
You see leaks anywhere? Oh, that's scary.
So everything is back on. We cycled the fuel pump a few times, and we're ready to fire. We'll see how this goes.
Let me know if it blows up.
I'm gonna stand back. You gotta burn your starter out.
Well, fuck.
So after priming the fuel pump a couple times, we connected everything back up and it still didn't start. So now we're just checking all the spark plugs. We have all the wires in order on the injectors. Checking all our connections again. And I don't know.
What the fuck? Stick this thing back up.
So the latest development is that Alex's car won't start, and we think we narrowed it down to the battery because he's got nothing now. It wouldn't crank over, but now there's nothing. So yeah, and we tried to jump it and it wouldn't charge or anything. So we're gonna go get a new battery. Alright, so we started with our battery adventures at Alex's house because he thought he had one. It was not the right battery. So then we went to the local Napa because it's like right around the road, right around the corner, and they were closed. So we had to come all the way back over on this end of town to go to AutoZone, and we're gonna put a Duralast battery in Alex's car.
What? You got a problem with my Duralast?
Duralast, bro.
I think that this is a AAA battery. Which way's left?
Fuck. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Okay,
Right.
so we're where we were. We are where we were. Okay. So.
That's the current situation. This is so scary. Highly do not recommend. I've never done this before. I don't recommend doing it, but it's a daily driver and we need it. We made it across town. It really wasn't as bad as we thought, but it was still a little sketch.
It was scary.
10 out of 10 would not recommend doing.
Good bumper, Zach.
Yeah. Shout out Zach for making like a sick bumper, and then shout out LOD for making shit. So me and Alex both made it home, and the final verdict was that the engine was flooded, and I think that's because we didn't take the fuel pump relay out and then start the car and drain all, like, burn all the burn all the gas out. So on a fuel injected car, if you hold the throttle wide open, it shuts off the injectors. So we hold it wide open and crank it a couple times, and then it finally turned over. So that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.